Hi everybody, welcome back. It's time for Book of the Week. I'm Luke. I love photography books, and I'm here in the James Deanich Library at the Vermont Center for Photography in Brattleboro, Vermont, to bring you another Book of the Week. This week we're talking about Abelardo Morell, a book of books. Before we get started with a book of books, I wanted to point out this other volume that we do have here in the VCP library. This is Abelardo Morell and the Camera Eye, and this is a little compendium of some of his work that really gets into something that he's a bit more known for. That would be his camera obscura photographs. Let me show you an example of what we're looking at here. Right, we have in this an image of a light bulb. He's created a little box with a lens on it, and what we see here is the light bulb projected, inverted, upside down and backwards inside the box, just as it would be inside of a camera. And Morell has made quite a name and made some quite beautiful images, taking entire rooms, blocking off all the light, putting a hole through in where the window was and the light has been covered up, and then letting the outside image come in and project into the room. Let me get you a shot here. We've got Boston, we've got the Grand Tetons rather here. These images, I just want to point out, were extraordinarily influential to me as a young photographer, thinking about what photography is, and particularly this spread of Manhattan, these two incredible views of the big city, upside down and backwards projected into this room. So getting to talk about Abelardo Morell's work is a big treat for me. He's been a big inspiration to me as a photographer and as someone who thinks about light. And yeah, just a little personal moment to say hello and thank you to Abe Morell for these beautiful images. But let's get into a book of books. These photographs are of books themselves, right? A perfect topic for a Book of the Week episode. This work is Abe Morell taking a look at images making images of books, right? Spending time in libraries and actually thinking about how books themselves are these beautiful objects that we not only read or gather information from, but we also have an opportunity to just sort of experience. And Morell sort of looks at these images and makes these images of books as sort of almost sculptural objects, right? Here we have a book that's sort of been damaged in some way, and the way he has lit this image and photographed this image sort of gives it this incredible kind of design look that has really nothing to do with our thought of what a book should look like, but just sort of explores the idea of what a book could look like. I'll start, or at least give us a little taste that sort of bridges the gap between the camera obscura work we looked at a minute ago. Here's an image of Fox Talbot, one of the sort of inventors of photography, if you will, sort of in the same mode as we saw with the light bulb. An image of him being illuminated and projected into this box upside down and backwards, and we see him sort of peering out there. So a little reference on behalf of Morell to give us a sense of the previous work. But again, he takes the opportunity to look at these books as sort of material for finding interesting interactions with the people or the things inside of them, right? Using an optical device as simple as a magnifying glass to sort of zero in on the folks in this photograph and really giving you this weird sense of time, right? Who were these people? What were they doing? And how have they ended up in this book so many years later? I'm really in love with these sculptural ways that Abelardo Morell sees the book, right? These close-ups, we can see sort of how this interacts with the light and creates these beautiful shapes and textures. And it happens here. Here's another one of these, sort of a book water damaged, that sort of becomes this sort of cacophony of movement and texture and page. Along with the images, we have a lot of book quotes from famous people. Here we have Francis Bacon saying, "Some books are to be tasted, others to be swallowed, and some few to be chewed and digested." So sort of an interesting pairing there with this book that sort of looks almost like it was sort of mashed up a little bit. So that's Abelardo Morell's A Book of Books. It is one of the many titles we have here in the VCP library. If you're interested in coming down and taking a look, the library is open whenever VCP is. If you like our videos, please like and subscribe, follow us, and stay tuned for more Books of the Week. That's Abelardo Morell, A Book of Books, and The Camera Eye. Come down to VCP and enjoy these, and we'll see you next time for another Book of the Week.